All right, then let's dive into the latest happenings around Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to be talking about the latest rumors about this one and an official reply from CD Projekt RED themselves about this new rumor. Plus, we're talking about GTA Trilogy Remastered. This one has been an absolute disaster, let me tell you what. But Rockstar Games has a new official reply for us about what they're going to be doing about this horrible launch, and also that they're so very sorry about what has happened. Plus, Bobby Kotick, CEO Activision, is in the news yet again. I mean, look at that face. Doesn't he look like the nicest, sweetest guy on planet Earth? No, not really, but yeah, he's in the news for all the wrong reasons. There's a group really going after him right now, and they want him removed from being CEO of Activision, and for good reason, it seems. So yeah, let's first of all start out with Cyberpunk 2077. So let's do this. This is the headline right here. It says Cyberpunk 2077 may be coming to Xbox Game Pass. Yesterday, Xbox released a video to highlight their game streaming option, for Game Pass Ultimate is coming to consoles. Halfway into the video, there's a brief clip that is tightly cropped of a player shooting a revolver at some robots in an FPS game. This appears to be from Cyberpunk. And as we all know, they usually only highlight games in their Game Pass service in Game Pass videos. The revolver that is being fired is the Overture and features the same distinct notches along the barrel and the centered bolt above the cylinder. And this is an interesting rumor for sure. You know, there's been rumors in the past that, hey, Microsoft, they're acquiring studios left and right. Could CD Projekt RED be next? So yeah, it would make sense that if it is true that Microsoft would be acquiring CD Projekt RED, that hey, Cyberpunk would end up on Game Pass. However, we have a reply from CD Projekt RED. Here's the headline. It says Cyberpunk won't be joining the roster of Xbox Game Pass after avid speculation. And let's go straight to the source. It says right here from CD Projekt RED, I just thought I'll chime in to say that there are no Game Pass plans for Cyberpunk 2077. It's really interesting because Phil Spencer says that Game Pass is really something that they love, and it's actually sustainable for developers and actually Microsoft themselves. So could Cyberpunk find a nice place on Xbox Game Pass in the future, like a couple years down the road? That could be possible. And it would be interesting for it to line up next to games like Starfield, Bethesda's RPG titles. So it would honestly, in my opinion, fit nicely into the fold, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be happening anytime soon. Let me know if you think that Cyberpunk needs to fit right in there into Xbox Game Pass. But yeah, now we need to talk about GTA Trilogy Remastered. My God, this one has been an absolute disaster. Let's get into the reply straight from Rockstar themselves. Check it out right here. They go on to say the following: a note from Rockstar Games team. Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. It says, hi everyone. We want to provide an update regarding the unexpected technical issues that came to light as part of the launch of Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy Definitive Edition. And we're going to stop it right there. Unexpected? Seriously? They would have had to have known that they were launching this game in this state. The same crap happened with Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm sorry, they had to know that these games have these problems based on responses from quality assurance and just playing the game for themselves. Now let's get back into what they have to say. Now it says this: first, they want to sincerely apologize to everyone who has encountered issues playing these games. The Grand Theft Auto series and the games that make up this iconic trilogy are special to us, as we know they are to fans around the world. So if that was the case, why in the world are you releasing such a cherished, beloved franchise in such a crazy, broken state? It blows my mind. Now it says this: the updated versions of these classic games did not launch in the state that meets our standards of quality or the standards of our fans have come to expect. We have outgoing plans to address the technical issues, and to improve each game going forward. With each planned update, the games will reach the level of quality that they deserve to be. That sounds really familiar to me. Man, what game comes to mind when I think of words like that? I wonder. Anyway, let's keep going here. It says a new title update is on the way in the coming days for all versions of Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, that will address a number of issues. We will update everyone as soon as it is live. In the meantime, it pains us to mention that we are hearing reports of members of the development teams being harassed on social media. We kindly ask our community to please maintain a respectful and civil discourse around this release as we work through these issues. You know, don't get me wrong. It's really bad that fans would go out and harass developers, especially when it comes to their family members and things like that, and even death threats and that sort of thing. That's absolutely horrible, of course. I do not recommend that. But also, if you're going to say this statement in this letter, you have to also talk about your own developers. Like this, for example. This was said by Grove Street Games head Thomas Williamson, who says, "It's so fun to see players out there really enjoying what we put together for them. I'm honestly enjoying this unparalleled level of scrutiny on our studio. Today, we are celebrating our monumental project launch while we work on updates, smiley face." Now, if that isn't a troll post, I don't know what is. That is definitely the head of the studio, in my opinion, trolling everyone in the GTA community. I mean, you have to know what you are doing. And, why not throw into this letter here a statement about, hey, we don't want our developers like this one right here talking and trolling to our community in this manner. Why not throw that in this letter right here? Because it would be fitting. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's scroll down here. It says, well, one of our goals of the Definitive Edition was allowing players to enjoy these games on modern platforms for many years to come. We also understand that some of you would still like to have previous classic versions available for purchase. Yeah, it blows my mind they pulled the classic versions. Like, why was that even necessary in the first place? Some really stupid decision making going on here regarding GTA Trilogy for sure. Now it says, we will be adding the classic PC version of GTA 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and GTA San Andreas back to the Rockstar store shortly as a bundle. Wow, nice. Additionally, everyone who has purchased GTA Trilogy, the Definitive Edition for PC from Rockstar Store through June 30th, 2022 will receive these classic versions in the Rockstar Games launcher library at no additional cost. We'll update everyone as soon as these are back in the Rockstar Store. Once again, we'd like to thank everyone for their patience and understanding while we work through these updates to ensure games meet everyone's justifiable high standards. Yeah, seriously, get to work. I mean, there's a lot of crap wrong with GTA Trilogy right now. And you know what? Mentioning GTA, guys, guess what? We have a new juicy rumor about GTA 6. Check it out right here. It says another GTA Trilogy mystery hunt. The little prob-in has an unidentified house amongst the UFO photo display. Grand Theft Auto 6 JK, or am I? Where is this from? Credit to Arthur Zussman, Lucifar03, and Mr. Charhead for the images. Check this out right here. So this was found in, of course, GTA Trilogy Remastered, brand new images from somewhere. And a lot of people are saying, could this be, a first tease and look at potentially Grand Theft Auto 6? And it's really blurry, but someone did sharpen the images here. Let me try to get that zoomed in for you guys. Check it out right here as we zoom in. So this is the more crystal clear version of what we're seeing, and it does look like more up-res graphics, but I honestly think it could also be leftover concept art. I don't know. It's a stretch to say that that's GTA 6. That's a major stretch. In fact, I think GTA 6 is going to look way better than what we're seeing right there. This is my opinion. All right, now it's time to talk about Bobby Kotick. He is in the news, my God, for all the wrong reasons. So we have this one right here. It says over 1,200 Activision Blizzard employees signed petition demanding CEO Bobby Kotick to quit. The APK Workers Alliance no longer have confidence in the leadership of Bobby Kotick. So is anything really going to happen with this? It goes on to say this. The APK Workers Alliance, a group of Activision Blizzard workers formed in response to the company's treatment of its employees, began circulating a petition earlier today for anyone working at the publisher studio and offices to sign. Has now been endorsed by over 1,200 workers. That is such a huge accomplishment. And they do mention that this is not an anonymous signing. These are 1,200 workers laying their jobs on the line. They are putting their actual signatures on this petition to get Bobby Kotick removed as CEO. So that is saying something big time. Now, it goes on to say this. We, the undersigned, no longer have confidence in the leadership of Bobby Kotick as the CEO of Activision Blizzard. The information that has come to light about his behaviors and practices in the running of our companies runs counter to the culture and integrity we require of our leadership, and directly conflicts with the initiatives started by our peers. We ask that Bobby Kotick remove himself as CEO of Activision Blizzard and that shareholders be allowed to select the new CEO without the input of Bobby, who we are aware owns a substantial portion of the voting rights of the shareholders. And, you know, he has like an infinite supply of money. And honestly, it's going to be tough getting him removed as CEO of Activision. It would be nice, but we'll see what happens, of course, because I guess the atmosphere and the work environment is just horrible, considering all the harassment that goes on at the workplace. Now, it says this: at the time of publishing, there have been over 1,211 signatures, which is roughly 12% of Activision Blizzard's total workforce. Well, that figure seems low given the extent of the deeds being protested here, The fact workers are putting their names to it and potentially their jobs and careers on the line in doing so actually makes it a very impressive feat indeed. So yeah, it's definitely a situation that has absolutely spiraled out of control. And it goes on to say this: in response to public support of those taking part, BK Workers Alliance have also made a public petition that fans can sign in solidarity. In statement, it reads, Bobby Kotick has proved that he does not care about his employees, and that he is not fit to be the CEO of Activision Blizzard. This petition will not guarantee his removal, but it will show him that we are not okay with him blatantly ignoring the cries of his employees. Having a petition with Activision Blizzard consumer signatures should show him how much we think he is unfit for his position. He has taken advantage of his employees for years, and this petition is only a small stepping stone. It is absolutely horrendous that someone with such power looks past all the cries of help. This petition will show that he has had his time as CEO, and he clearly cannot do it well. He needs to be removed. And this is definitely affecting relationships beyond just Activision with their fans, Activision and their employees. It's also affecting partnerships like Sony and Microsoft, because they're even on the fence about their relationship with Activision right now. There's some interesting things that Phil Spencer of Xbox and Microsoft has said, saying that they would like to look into their relationship with Activision, basically reevaluate it. That's how I believe he worded it. But it goes on to say this: at the time of publication, this petition has signed over 7,000 times. Kotick, despite having literally no defensible reason to remain in his position, has yet to resign or be ousted by a complicit board of directors. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. This is going to be interesting for sure, because honestly, I think it's time for him to move on. When you have this much of the company, I think it's like 12% or more, and this is just the start, the beginning of it, willing to sign a petition to get him removed, then you got major problems at Activision. All right, now it's time to go over your top comment, something I love to do. So let's dive into my latest Cyberpunk video I did recently and see what you guys had to say about this one. So let's do this, shall we? All right, so my latest video was called Cyberpunk just received unbelievable news. Red Dead Redemption 3, Saints Row gets new updates. We'll dive into the comments, but first I wanted to say that the news in this video was basically, yes, Cyberpunk was nominated for 2 video game awards, one of them being like best sound design, music, that sort of thing. The other one being best RPG, and I was completely against the fact that this game would receive any type of awards based on its launch. I'm sorry, my experience with it for like 6 months or even longer was glitches, problems, and it ruined the RPG elements of the game. However, right now the game is in a much better shape, which means it's a much better RPG right now. But this award, excuse me, is for Cyberpunk during its launch period, during its first 6 months, during its first 8 months. That's what I'm talking about here. But anyway, I'm really hoping that Cyberpunk has a big turnaround. I am still rooting for this game big time. Let's get into the comments, shall we? All right. Of course, I wanted to mention my star-filled videos. Check those out, please, because, man, I am hyped for that one. I hope it turns out good. But we have SkankHunt42 who says, for all the bad this game has, for those that actually played it, recognize that there is some good. One of the best original soundtracks I've ever heard. Get out of here with that RPG nomination, though, LOL. Yeah, absolutely. Mike says, despite the lack of content the game has, Cyberpunk is really detailed and very stunning. The music is amazing and so is the story. I didn't think I'd get so attached to a character who didn't even last much in the game. Yeah, they have a lot of stuff going for it with the story and music, no doubt. Now it says, and of course the actual open world is absolutely beautiful when it wasn't glitchy. Thump505 says, to nominate it for certain things it does well is okay, but as an RPG specifically, that is a bridge too far. Specific aspects of the game can be looked at in isolation so as to award the hard work of those who succeeded where the whole failed. I'm in the boat of waiting until it's not a steaming pile, which may never happen, before I try to restart. And then he says, the game, as I stopped when it became obvious how terrible the release version was. For them to tote that more completed Cyberpunk 2077 is just misdirection. It doesn't speak to how much people liked it in comparison to The Witcher 3, but could be a factor of how short the Cyberpunk campaign is and how linear it became. So yeah, and then we have comments here from Sound That Law, who says, I never experienced firsthand what disaster Cyberpunk was at launch. Man, let me tell you what, you are lucky, for sure. And then he says this, I waited until it was a better place and they fixed a lot of things about around 2 to 3 months ago, and I can honestly say it is a pretty beautiful and amazing game. Soundtrack was for sure one of the best I have experienced in the game. The music just fits the aesthetics of the game perfectly. It never fails to get you pumped to go into a building and chop everyone's head off with a samurai sword or pulverize someone's face in with those gorilla arms. I would change one thing about the game though, the ending, all 3 of them, LOL. Then we have Geezy the Great, who says, even with all the issues, I still put so many hours into Cyberpunk and I love it. Hell yes. You know, it just seems like there's a big support group, which gives me a lot of hope that CD Projekt RED wants to actually turn this around. So that's good news. You know, the support from the fans, the community is absolutely encouraging to CD Projekt RED to keep this thing going. I hope the next gen update is a smash hit, and alongside the next gen update, they have like a huge package of free DLC. They fix even more glitches and core gameplay mechanic problems, and then we get into a big DLC expansion that has a really, really good base to it. So we'll see what happens. That's what I'm hoping. I'm trying to think like what CD Projekt RED might be trying to do, but we'll see. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Cyberpunk news and updates and open world gaming goodness, including, you know, Rockstar stuff, Bethesda stuff. I have you guys covered. I hope you enjoyed the video. Smack that like button if you did, and I will see you all next time. Take care.